Zack thought this was going to be a normal camping trip. A little firewood, a badly assembled tent, and maybe one argument before dinner. Instead, the forest was about to become the first battlefield of a new world, and the axe in his hand was about to become the only reason he survived it. It begins with Zack chopping wood while the rest of the group struggles with the campsite. Tyler complains about the tent. David explains that he was helping Izzy in the trailer. Hannah, Zack's girlfriend, assures everyone that Zack knows what he is doing. Zack is tired, sweaty, and clearly enjoying the trees more than the people. Then Tyler calls him Hatchetman and orders him to bring back more firewood. Zack could have started an argument. Instead, he smiles, takes the axe, and walks deeper into the woods. That choice saves his life. There is nothing heroic about the moment. Zack is not chasing destiny. He wants 5 quiet minutes away from Tyler's voice and a branch thick enough to keep the campfire alive. He studies the trees, tests the weight of the axe, and keeps moving until the laughter behind him fades. The forest feels calm, but the calm has the strange, hollow quality that sometimes arrives before a storm. Birds stop calling, the air tightens. Even the light between the branches seems to dim. Zack notices the change 1 second too late. Without warning, black energy coils around him and tears him out of the forest. 1 second he is standing under the trees. The next, he is floating inside a silent cosmic void. A glowing interface welcomes him to the multiverse and calmly announces that Earth is a low-grade world scheduled for adjustment. Continents, wildlife, and entire planetary regions are being merged with other worlds. Zack briefly wonders whether Izzy put something special in the brownies. Unfortunately, hallucinations usually do not come with system notifications. The interface announces incursions, heralds, and a survival roll. Then it detects an error. A herald is already present. A towering red demon named Urkaz appears in the darkness, and the system gives them both a number between 100 and 100,000. Whoever rolls lower will be erased. Zack refuses. The system treats that refusal as consent. His number begins spinning while he screams at the interface to stop. It lands on 96. At first, Zack thinks that means 96 out of 100, which would be excellent. Then he remembers the actual range. His odds are so bad that dying in a camping accident suddenly sounds reasonable. Urkaz does not appear worried. The herald stands in the void like a creature that has watched this ritual happen many times and never once imagined losing. That confidence makes the silence worse. Zack cannot run because there is no ground. He cannot attack because the demon is beyond reach. He cannot negotiate with an interface that interprets no as roll the dice. All he can do is watch the numbers and understand how little control a human being has when a cosmic system decides to turn survival into entertainment. As Urkaz waits for its own result, Zack thinks about his father, his sister Kenzie, and all the things he never said. He wonders whether the people at camp will even notice he vanished. Then fear becomes anger. He tightens his grip on the axe and demands one chance to fight, even if the system has already decided his fate. The demon's roll appears. 91. Against impossible odds, Zack wins by 5 points. Urkaz is consumed by violent red and blue energy. The system confirms that the herald has been vanquished, preserves Zack's existence, and floods him with levels and power that his body was never designed to hold. Then it throws him back into the forest. Zack wakes on the ground with his chest burning and his thoughts scrambled. He tries to convince himself that the void was a dream. That explanation lasts until he reaches the campsite and hears something chewing nearby. The camp looks familiar at first. The trailer is still parked beneath the trees. The tents are still standing, and the fire pit is where they left it. Then Zack notices the silence. Nobody answers when he calls. something heavy moves behind the brush. Branches snap under a weight that no animal in these woods should possess. When the first monster finally steps into view, its body is a wrong collection of eyes, teeth, and armored flesh. The new world has not merely added wildlife, it has rewritten the food chain, and Zack has entered it bleeding. A multi-eyed creature steps from the trees. It is huge, red-eyed, and built like nature had a bad evening and decided everyone else should suffer too. Zack swings first. The axe bites into the monster, and the strength behind the blow shocks him almost as much as the creature does. The system rewards him with experience. The nightmare is real. More beasts arrive before he can find Hannah or the others. Wounded and alone, Zack draws one away from the camp. It is faster than him in a straight line, but clumsy when it turns, so he uses the trees, rough ground, and trailer to control its charge. When the creature corners him, the fear finally disappears. What remains is rage. The chase becomes a lesson in how quickly instinct can replace panic. Zack changes direction at the last possible second, forcing the beast to skid through loose soil. He swings at its legs instead of its armored head. When the creature recovers, he puts a tree between them and listens to the rhythm of its steps. The system gave him better attributes, but those numbers mean nothing without judgment. Every narrow escape teaches him where the monster is vulnerable, how long it takes to turn, and exactly how close its jaws can come before he needs to move. The answer is too close, repeatedly. He dodges its jaws and attacks again. Every strike cracks through armor that should have stopped an ordinary axe. Compared with Urkhas and the Roll in the Void, these creatures no longer feel impossible. They are simply problems with teeth. Zack drives the blade down until the beast stops moving. The system grants him Nexus coins, but he is losing blood and can barely stand. He follows the trail back to the trailer, calls for his friends, and collapses beside it. A single word appears on the interface: home. When Zack opens his eyes again, sunlight is filtering through the leaves. His wounds have closed, but 3 days have passed. The campsite is abandoned. Everyone's belongings are still there. The car battery is dead, and there is no signal. Hannah, Tyler, David, and Izzy are gone. He searches the tents and trailer anyway. He checks beneath blankets, calls names into the trees, and studies the dirt for tracks that might tell him where the group went. There are signs of confusion, but no clear answer. 3 missing days separate Zack from the last moment he saw them, and the system offers no explanation. His healed skin only makes the mystery more disturbing. Something rebuilt his body while he was unconscious, but it did not bring anyone back to the camp. Zack takes food, water, bandages, and every useful tool he can carry. Hope is still there, but now it has an axe in its hand. He climbs a tree to see beyond the forest and discovers that the landscape no longer belongs to the earth he remembers. Mountains rise where they should not exist. A vast ocean surrounds the land. In the distance, a red beam cuts into the sky like a warning flare from hell. Zack is trapped on an island created by the integration. Then the delayed rewards begin arriving. Titles such as Born for Carnage, Ultimate Reaper, Overpowered, and Slayer of Leviathan increase his attributes. His status identifies him as Zachary Atwood, level 16. The system also lists new objectives: reach level 25, establish an outpost, kill the heralds, and eliminate the incursion general connected to that red beam. If this is a game, the tutorial designer clearly hated people. Zack creates an outpost around the old campsite. A small glowing being appears soon afterward. He assumes it is another threat and swings at it, but the creature steals his axe and balances it on its tail with insulting ease. Before either of them can settle the misunderstanding, a giant serpent attacks. The snake coils around Zack and crushes him against a tree. He is stronger now, but strength alone does not make him invincible. The pressure builds until bones begin to protest. Zack forces himself free and learns the first rule of the new world. The system rewards risk, and hesitation is expensive. The glowing creature watches the fight from a safe distance and openly questions his decision to build an outpost in a tree. It calls the idea stupid, which is bold criticism from a floating eyeball with a tail. Zack survives the serpent and kills the other creatures drawn to the fight. That changes the little being's opinion. It introduces itself as Abby, the administrator assigned to his outpost. Zack asks how she talks without a mouth. Abby ignores the question and asks why he missed the tutorial. That is when Zack learns the scale of what happened. Earth has been integrated into a multiverse that has existed for billions of years. Most humans were moved into protected tutorial towns where they will spend 1 month learning to use cosmic energy. Zack never reached one because he survived the system's judgment and grew beyond what it expected. Abby identifies him as a defier. Abby explains that integration is not a friendly invitation. Worlds are evaluated, merged, and forced to compete. Cosmic energy changes the land and every living thing inside it. Creatures that adapt can evolve with terrifying speed. Civilizations that fail become resources for those that succeed. Tutorial towns offer temporary protection, basic training, and a chance to choose a class before the real danger begins. Zack received none of that. He was dropped into an active incursion with an axe and the emotional support of a sarcastic floating administrator. Even Abby seems impressed that he is still alive, although she tries very hard not to sound impressed. A defier can gain extraordinary power by refusing the limits placed on them. The title sounds impressive until Abby explains the price. The system watches defiers closely, creates dangerous opportunities for them, and punishes cowardice. Zack calls being almost erased by dice a strange definition of opportunity. Abby says his opinion is not the one that matters. He asks about his family. Abby says they should be safe if they reached a tutorial town, but not everyone can absorb cosmic energy. Some people will not survive the integration at all. Zack has no way to contact his father or Kenzie, and the thought of waiting quietly while they face that danger is unbearable. Abby warns him to finish his quests within 1 month. Before she can explain why, the system removes her for interfering with the timeline. Zack is left alone with the warning, the red beam, and 25 days. Elsewhere, the demons responsible for the incursion are dealing with their own politics. During a celebration in a dark hall, a horned noble is named Incursion General by his grandfather. The title is presented as an honor, but everyone in the room understands that power inside the clan is purchased with betrayal. A violent attack interrupts the ceremony, and a warning follows. People who pull strings eventually get strangled by them. Back on the island, Zack focuses on the only thing he can control. He hunts. He kills creatures near a stream, earns the Demon Slayer title, and invests his stat points into strength, dexterity, endurance, and vitality. Saving points for the perfect build would be smart in a normal game. In this world, tomorrow is not guaranteed, so hoarding power is just a sophisticated way to die with unused currency. The Outpost shop offers a possible route home, a teleporter. It costs 10 million Nexus coins. Zack currently earns coins by killing monsters one at a time, so the price might as well be 10 million planets. He buys 2 things he can actually afford. Eye of Discernment allows him to learn basic information about creatures. A small gathering array collects cosmic energy every day. Neither item solves his real problem, but both make him harder to kill. Eye of Discernment changes the way Zack hunts. Before, every creature was an unknown pile of muscle and teeth. Now he can identify species, estimate levels, and recognize traits before committing to a fight. The information is limited, But limited information is better than discovering a special ability while it is removing one of your limbs. The gathering array is less dramatic. It quietly condenses energy while Zack sleeps, giving him a slow, dependable supply. One purchase keeps him informed. The other keeps him moving. Together, they form the closest thing he has to a plan. For the rest of the month, Zack turns the forest into a training ground. He tracks demon dogs, studies their behavior, ambushes the ones he can, and survives the ones that ambush him. His levels rise slowly. His axe work improves. The system gives him rewards, but every victory leaves another scar and another reminder that something larger is coming. His routine becomes brutal and simple. Hunt until his energy runs low. Retreat before exhaustion makes him careless. Clean the axe. Treat the wounds. Eat whatever monster meat does not look immediately poisonous. Sleep beside the gathering array and repeat the process at sunrise. Some fights end with one clean strike. Others leave him crawling back to the trailer while the forest follows the scent of his blood. He learns to hide supplies in trees and rocky crevices so one destroyed camp cannot erase everything. He also learns that confidence is useful right up until it becomes stupidity, a lesson the island is happy to teach as many times as necessary. The titles help, but they do not remove the danger. Born for Carnage increases his capacity for violence. Ultimate Reaper strengthens him after impossible victories. Slayer titles improve his effectiveness against certain enemies. None of them tell him where Hannah is. None explain whether his father and Kenzie survived. Each new number on the status screen gives Zack more power and less patience. The only direction he has is the incursion beam, so every hunt becomes preparation for reaching it. With fewer than 5 days remaining, the story shifts to the invaders. A horned officer named Rydell reports to Ogress, the incursion general. Ogress would rather drink than read the preparations. Rydell has him sign an order and quietly enjoys how little attention the general is paying. Their conversation sounds casual, but it reveals a dangerous truth. The invasion is not a random monster attack. It is organized, scheduled, and nearly ready. In the forest, Zack discovers a creature far larger than the demon dogs. It tracks by scent, understands strange symbols, and appears to be searching for his outpost. A smaller winged demon accompanies it. Eye of Discernment confirms that these are not ordinary animals. They are intelligent invaders. The larger beast finds him before he can retreat. Purple fire tears through the trees, and Zack's axe breaks during the exchange. The winged demon attacks from range, while the horned creature keeps him pinned at close quarters. For the first time in days, Zack is fighting enemies that can coordinate. The horned beast attacks like a living battering ram. Its claws are nearly as long as Zack's forearm, and every impact tears chunks from the ground. The smaller demon stays above the fight, laughing while it launches purple bolts into the spaces where Zack tries to escape. One controls distance, the other controls movement. Zack understands that they are not hunting him for food. They have a mission, and the symbols they exchange may be a language. If one of them escapes, it could lead the entire incursion directly to his outpost. Zack uses the terrain to keep the two demons from attacking cleanly. He forces the larger creature beneath branches that block the winged one's line of sight. He lets one attack interrupt the other. A bolt grazes his skin and leaves a burning sensation that does not behave like heat. When the beast finally catches the axe between its armored claws and snaps the handle, Zack is left holding a broken tool against enemies who expected him to panic. Instead, he studies the energy still vibrating through the wood. Their magic teaches him something important. The purple energy is not fire. It is cosmic energy, the building material of the multiverse, and Zack has carried it inside him since his first kill. The gathering array taught him to feel it. His skills taught him to release it. Control is the part nobody bothered to explain. That becomes his advantage. Zack channels the energy through his body and strikes back. The power is unstable, painful, and strong enough to make the demons hesitate. He is still outnumbered, his weapon is damaged, and the creatures are better trained. But they made one mistake. They broke his axe, and Zack is taking that personally. Day 30 arrives. Zack has not reached level 25, and the month Abby warned him about is ending. Rather than hide, he decides to take the largest risk available. He will kill a second herald. Across the rift, Rydal and Ogress prepare their forces. A purple portal opens, armored demons gather, and the incursion general smiles at the world he expects to conquer. On the island, Zack sharpens a replacement axe and studies a level 45 monster named Vol. The creature is stronger, faster, and more durable than anything he should be challenging, so Zack refuses to challenge it fairly. He remembers Abby explaining that humans survive by using tools, traps, and ideas. Birds have wings, rabbits have speed, fish are slippery. Humans look at all three and invent a trap because apparently nature was not stressful enough. 2 hours before the fight, Zack builds a kill zone from sharpened stakes and narrow paths. Vol arrives early, forcing him to improvise. One clean hit would end him, so Zack focuses his cosmic energy into brief bursts of speed and strength. He attacks, retreats, and draws the herald deeper into the forest. Vol is not simply a larger version of the animals Zack has killed. Eye of Discernment identifies it as a herald, a creature carrying enough authority and power to anchor the invasion. Its hide turns weak attacks aside. Its charge uproots saplings. Zack tests it with a quick strike and immediately understands that a normal battle would last only as long as Vol needs to reach him. The trap is no longer an advantage. It is the entire plan. He leads the herald past false trails and shallow pits, forcing it to waste strength. When Vol begins anticipating the turns, Zack changes the route and cuts across open ground. Cosmic energy floods his legs, but controlling it feels like pouring lightning through muscle. The power makes him faster, while also threatening to tear him apart. He uses it in short bursts, saving enough for the final exchange. Behind him, Vol keeps coming, patient and furious, as if it knows that exhaustion will eventually finish the hunt. The battle tears through the trees. Vol's jaws close inches behind him. Zack's energy surges beyond what his body can safely contain. At the same time, the demon army begins moving through the portal, and the commanders on the other side reveal plans of their own. Everyone believes the planet is about to belong to them. Zack reaches the final trap, stops running, and turns. For a moment, neither of them moves. Zack can hear his own breathing and the low rumble in Vol's chest. The creature lowers its head. Zack adjusts his grip on the replacement axe and plants one foot beside the hidden trigger. If the herald notices the stakes, the month ends here. If the mechanism fails, the month ends here. If Zack moves half a second too late, the month ends here. It is not a good plan. It is simply the only plan with a chance. Vol lunges. The hidden stakes erupt from the brush and punch through its armored body. The creature thrashes, but the trap holds. Zack strikes until the red light in its eyes fades, and the system confirms the kill. Then, the notification he has been chasing for an entire month appears. Level 25 achieved. Class selection available. Zack has survived the role, the island, the monsters, and the first month of integration. Now the system is finally willing to tell him what he can become. And in Part 2, the choice waiting for him will turn Tyler's stupid nickname into something the entire multiverse may learn to fear.